Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of United Talks podcast. And today we're going to be doing a match, the pre-match press conference review. I'm going to be analyzing the part one of the press conference according to what all the things that Rúben Amorim has said and all of that. Man United head coach Rúben Amorim revealed that he's more than happy with, Bryan Mbeumo. This was like the headline of the press conference since the summer signing. Basically. Mbeumo joined the Red Devils from Brentford, and obviously he's set to face the team that he left and played and performed very well for on Saturday. Basically, early kickoff, giving the Cameroon international an early opportunity, to return to his former employers. Amorim also discussed the occasion along with team news and an update on Ahmad's absence, which we'll talk about as well. And also, searching back for back-to-back Premier League wins with the media and journalists asking him questions surrounding that, especially in the press conference. And basically before the team had to travel, and there's clips online obviously of the team traveling and all of that, but we have to let's analyze every question that was asked and break it down. And one of the journalists asked for what is the availability of players, like injury updates, absences Before I break down this, I saw some news yesterday from some journalists stating that Rúben Amorim stating that in training yesterday, Noussair Mazraoui was notably absent, and all that. But Amorim, clarified it. He says Lisandro Martínez is out. That's Lisandro Martínez is out. Casemiro is out because of the red card. Ahmad is not around. Like, Ahmad is out because he lost someone in his family. So he's been given the support, and he's understood that it was important for him to have his time and return home, basically in Manchester. So because when I saw that, I thought, he's going back to Ivory Coast, and I'm like, nah. So I checked online and I saw that it was basically, in Manchester, and the rest are fit to play. And he's saying, obviously, that, which we'll see later down, that we can win the game without Ahmad. And I like that confidence. Then, speaking of Ahmad, which we're talking about now, we'll get to that. Okay, you know what? Let's leave it to later, because there were some questions about Ahmad that was asked to Amorim, and is going to answer it as well. He was also asked about Noussair Mazraoui, and he said he's also out. He's not going to be available until the international break. So he's out. So basically, what I got from the research that I made with regards to Nous, it's not difficult to find online. Noussair Mazraoui is out with a knock, so we'll just leave it like that. I think he played very well in Chelsea, and then I think his first two games were against City and Chelsea, and then now he's out again. And he missed the Sunderland game as well, Brentford and Sunderland, until the international break. So it's pretty much going to be out for around 4 weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks, that's what it is, because we have this game this week, we have this Sunderland game next week, and after that we have the international break, and then international break is about 2 weeks, and then he's back again, or about 10 days, depending on what happens after that. So mid-October, that's where I think we're going to see him. Then the next question was with regards to the important win against Chelsea. Now the question was, now how important is it now to finally get back-to-back Premier League wins? Basically, this was the crux of the question. He said, yes, it's really important. We talked about it at the end of the game, talked about it with the team, obviously. It's really important for us to have the sense of urgency that we need to win no matter what is going to, and it's going to be really difficult. Every time we start preparing the game, you watch the next opponent, you think, oh, it's going to be really, really tough. I have that feeling we cannot control the result. We cannot control the result of the game. But for me, the important thing is to start the game the way we started against Chelsea, the way we started against Burnley, and the way we started against Arsenal. These kinds of games, we need to be really focused and have that feeling and need to win every match. And that is what it is. We need to win every match. And that is what Rúben Amorim has said, and it's a breakdown straightforward thing on what he said with regards to that. And obviously we have to just back the process, back the manager. I've seen a lot of content online, people saying, oh, Amorim needs to do what he needs to do to win, blah 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 blah, this and that. He's doing what he knows. He's doing the things that has worked for him over the years. So yeah, we have to just back him. And then obviously question with regards to Bryan Mbeumo, says a big game for Bryan Mbeumo on his return to Brentford. It's in his short time here, how important has he become to your team? And the truth is, Bryan Mbeumo's importance to the team, and I think that deserves a separate video to talk about. Bryan Mbeumo's importance to the team cannot be understated. He has actually slowly become also a more consistent player, just as I did with Matthijs de Ligt and Noussair Mazraoui, albeit Noussair Mazraoui played only 2 games, but he has become a consistent stay and a constant in this team. And he says, oh, it's really important for everything that we have been doing. This was in response to Bryan Mbeumo question. The light that he brings to the dressing room, and that is a unique standpoint, a unique perspective to give us about Bryan Mbeumo. Not the guy who talks more, but you can feel it, that he's always there to help us. He runs a lot, he presses a lot. It's different. It's a different threat compared to last season. He can take set pieces, and that is really important in the league. So I'm more than happy with Bryan. So pretty much straight on the Bryan Mbeumo situation. And then the question again is around that Bryan Mbeumo is that, has he surprised you at all? Because some players struggle to deal with the demands of playing for this club, but not him, obviously. Amorim answered and says, oh, that is also a good thing, because that's also a good thing to have time to know the players when you want to bring the players in. Then you can see every week that the players in the Premier League, you can see the players every week in the Premier League. And he also said that that was really important for us to bring new players from our league, so you can understand that they are doing what they are doing week by week against the opponents they are going to face, so that can help us. So the risk is completely different from other players, but in the end, you never know. So we were lucky with Bryan. If I was trying to say is that he brought Premier League proven players and they have delivered, especially with Bryan Mbeumo. Cunha, yes, he hasn't scored yet. Bryan Mbeumo has scored 2 goals. Bernardesco is not Premier League proven and he hasn't scored yet. So he's saying, oh, we brought Premier League proven players and we wanted them to actually kind of bolster our attack and deliver, because we've seen what they can do week in, week out. So it's very important for a match, for the team and the team chemistry and team cohesion as well. So yeah, what do you guys think about this one? Because I think Bryan Mbeumo has delivered. I think Bryan Mbeumo has shown that he can do it. I think Bryan Mbeumo has come off leaps and bounds to show that he can deliver. So what do you guys think? Do you think that Mbeumo is the kind of player that we need in this squad, and will he be the kind of player that will deliver for us in this squad as time goes on? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section as we move on to the next thing. Obviously, he has delivered with 2 goals, so let's move on. Then, furthermore, on Bryan, he said just on Bryan and also bringing in the likes of Matheus Cunha, obviously, you brought in Premier League proven players this summer. How important was that? So do you think that's a strategy you can see continuing moving forward? So these 2 questions, the previous one and this one, are linked, because you can think about it from the perspective of, okay, he just explained that from the Premier League proven standpoint, we brought in players that we see them do a good job every day and we can tell what they can bring. But for other players as well, you never know. So he's kind of answered the question. Then you still brought back the question again. I don't know, these journalists. Anyway, I don't know whether they wanted to see a different angle to his response, but he says, based on the last question at the end, because he talked about how important is it, and then he now said, the last question he now said was, do you think that's the strategy you can see continuing going forward? And I'm like, okay, let's analyze Rúben Amorim in his way of responding. He says it depends, because you can see that every player that you want to buy in the Premier League is really expensive. Case in point, Carlos Baleba. You know, even now, Adam Watson, same thing with I keep missing this guy's name. The not Forest guy, same thing, right? You see with those kinds of players, and the moment Man United get involved, the price goes up. So, and I said, but if you look at our moment last year, you want to take the least risky move, right? It was really important to have top players in our team. And I think if you look at Bryan and Cunha, it's not just 1 year. They've been doing this for years. So it was really important, of course, was something that we look for players in the Premier League. And it's so important. It's so interesting to see that these players decided to come to Man United because they wanted to win and they wanted to help the club win, because we're not even in Europe. So some other fans might say, "Oh, these guys lack ambition. That's why they're coming to Man United." But it is a huge step to come to a big club as Man United with all the pressure they're gonna get. I mean, Bryan Mbeumo came in, he took the number 19 shirt, no doubt. Matheus Cunha came in and took the number 10 shirt. So, like, we have to think about it from that perspective, and you know, gain a wider perspective of the pressure they wanted to take on themselves, because the pressure is even bigger than most clubs. In fact, if I must say, all the clubs in the Premier League, especially if they are wearing the Man United shirt. So kudos to these players. They've done well. Cunha has brought another dimension to our team, albeit he hasn't been injured for 2 games, but he's brought another dimension to our team: speed, versatility, you know, transition, and ability to drive the ball forward. The kind of player that Rúben Amorim wants in his team, especially if you look at his game, his time in Sporting and all of that. So kudos to them. Basically, on Ahmad's absence, he said, just on Ahmad, the club and yourself have shown a bit of but it's all good. A bit of compassion to let him go home after a family bereavement. I just wonder, does the footballing world maybe need to show that as well? Maybe with the fans. Maybe he's trying to get a message from the fans, message from Amorim to the fans. But maybe he asked 2 questions as well, because he said because he received a lot of messages on social media after the Chelsea game. Basically, this question was surrounding Ahmad's posts on social media with Garnacho, and he posted a picture on and I like how it is framed here. It wasn't typed completely; it was just left out. But you will see the video on our social media, on our social media platforms. Like we break down Amorim's press conferences, so we'll post it on our social media platforms, and you can, you know, make of it what you will. But he was talking about, you know, the Garnacho Ahmad post. Obviously, I've said this, I released the video yesterday regarding this, that obviously these players, they are represented by certain agencies, and Ahmad and Garnacho had an opportunity to meet and took pictures together and tagged their agency and posted it on social media, on Instagram, and everybody ruined Ahmad with abuse. And it was sad to see. And then I analyzed the video of training yesterday, and Ahmad looked visibly sad, right? He looked disillusioned, he looked disconnected. So he needs all the support he can get from the fans. He says, "I'll always say the same thing to my players: shut down social media. Nowadays it's like that. It's the price you have to pay. But the important thing is that the club and friends, the important thing is that there's the club and their friends. But that is real life for Ahmad. We are here for him. It's a tough moment, and in these kinds of moments, it's not important the next game, right? The next game is not important, but we can win without Ahmad, and we want to win also for Ahmad." So they have more motivation to go for this game. Now, the last bit of the press conference was on improvement. It says, if you want the improvement that you're seeking, you need to win games in a row, right? Do you feel confident about that? And I think this sounds like Simon Stone. Do you feel confident about that? Because I think a lot of fans don't really trust the team to. No, this is not Simon Stone. The previous question this was in reference to Simon Stone's question. He says, because I think a lot of fans don't really trust the team to be able to play 2 games back to back well. So the question was trying to analyze Man United winning 2 games back to back. But the question that was asked was that the fans don't believe that the team can play 2 games back to back well. Meanwhile, we have played 2 games back to back well, albeit come up with losses, but we just haven't won 2 back to back games. So he said, I don't say playing well because obviously Amorim knows what he's saying and he's been saying it time and again. I don't say playing well because I think we did this last year. We did that last year. But it's normal for the fans to say this. Maybe the fans didn't say it, but the fans are expecting it. There was no direct quote from the fans, but obviously you know how the fans feel about Rúben Amorim. Most of them want him out. They don't know what is going on, what is going to happen in the next game. And to be completely honest, I have an idea, which is good, but I don't know how it's going to be. And I am the manager of the team. So it's basically like, oh, I have an idea, because people might translate this or mistranslate this. I have an idea, but I don't know. Please make reference to this video. Like, make reference to, once you watch the short, you will see that this video is linked. Watch to this point so that you can actually understand what Amorim is actually saying. He says, I have an idea. So it's like, I have an idea of what I want to do, but I don't know what the outcome will be. But I already know that this is what I want to do, and I know the outcome I expect. So not knowing what will happen is different from is different from knowing what to expect. So he says, I'm the manager of the team, obviously, and he was laughing and smiling. I remember that, and that has to be with the moment that we live for so many months. So I think the best way of dealing with that is that every game is the last one. So deal with it as if that game is your last game. It's just not thinking about 2 games, not thinking about, oh, we're playing Sunderland next, or we're playing Liverpool in 4 weeks, but focus on this game and win it. Okay, it's not too many games for Manchester United, obviously, because we're out of the Carabao Cup. But yes, it's a big deal for Manchester United. So we have to win. This is our season of winning, our season of getting into competitive positions. So the next game is going to be the most important game for a long time in Manchester United. So I understand the feeling of the fans. And so let's start changing that feeling and to present ourselves with the urgency, with that urgency that we need on the pitch. So pretty much Amorim is demanding urgency from the team and from everybody. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section about Rúben Amorim's thoughts and press conferences and everything. I'm going to post the videos and all of that with regards to the press conference. You know, you watch and then you can make of it and compare it with what I've translated and all that. But if you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your kind comments. Thank you so much for the conversations we'll be having as well with regards to all of Rúben Amorim's comments and stuff. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye and God bless.